What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Day after another disappointing result for Leeds United. Stop me if you've heard that one before. But we're here to talk about a few things. And, it is going bad at Leeds United. Lots of vitriol at the board. And I'm already looking at the comments here. The board, Jesse Marsch, getting a lot of heat, and rightly so. Not saying that they don't deserve it. They definitely deserve it times 100. But I want to talk about a few of the players as well today. Some of the players here that believe they should be Premier League players, and also that fans believe should be Premier League players. So I want to get into a couple of those. People say there's no good news. There is good news. Listen, we're going to enjoy our Christmas a little bit more as the Premier League have moved our Man City game from Boxing Day to the 28th. Thank you so much. So we can enjoy that. We can enjoy our New Year's too, because the West Ham game has been moved to the 4th. So listen, there is good news on the horizon, people. Not all doom and gloom around here. Afternoon, Danny. Shout out to you, Jack Wilson at work. We'll catch up later. Shout out to you, Jack. Always supporting the thing. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm bored. Learned a hard lesson last season, but no, the trapdoor is open. It certainly is, people. It certainly is. And obviously, before I go on, smash a like on the video. And if you're watching replay, please hit the like also. Or algorithm helps the channel out big time. Evening to everybody, man. Evening to everyone. Good news, Dale. Of course, it's good news. You're dreading it. Boxing Day. You've had a lovely Christmas with your family or friends, whichever it is. And then you've got Boxing Day and you're like, it's Erling Haaland. 28th. That's light, isn't it? You can take it on the 28th. So, and Stephen LC, what's up, KG? I finally caught a midday stream. Yeah, I mean, it's evening here, but obviously we know this thing goes worldwide. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, all that stuff. Sam saying we need half decent, solid defenders, maybe better off better teams bench. People like Craig Dawson, not pretty, but would keep us up. Craig Dawson, yeah, he would be probably better than nearly all our centre halves here, Sam. And that's where we are, unfortunately. Craig Dawson is a threat at both ends of the pitch, on the wrong side of 30 for me. And it's not a good 30. There are some defenders that are Rolls Royces. I think Thiago Silva, but, we're talking Craig Dawson here. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, good night. It's 11 p.m. here. Now, shout out to wherever you are in the world, man. Love it. And John B, we can all enjoy Christmas a little more now. We certainly can. So yeah, I mean, listen, we are where we are now. We know that Jesse Marsch is going to be here for the Liverpool game, barring anything major going on this week, unless there's more pressure put on them and they fold. We saw Angus Kinnear talk to some fans after the game yesterday. If you've seen that clip going around social media, obviously he's going to keep it very professional. He knows he's on film, so he's not going to say exactly what he wants to say to those fans. But unless there's anything major, Jesse Marsch will be here till Liverpool at least. Although I would find it very difficult to believe that the board think we're going to beat Liverpool and that he gets sacked after we lose. That doesn't make much sense to me, especially when we got Bournemouth coming up after those guys. So if he's here for Liverpool, I would assume he's going to be here for Bournemouth. But listen, we just never know with these guys, right? We never know. Smudge with a super chat. Thank you so much, Smudge. Morning, KG. Things are always better the next day. I don't know about better, Smudge. I got to be honest. I don't know about better, but we have to move on from this now and move on to the next thing. We can't keep dwelling on these bad results. We have to turn a corner at some time. So, I mean, it's one of those where we can keep on harping on about what's happened and it sucks what's happened, or we can try and look to the future and just see where we can improve. I mean, it's difficult to see. It really is, but we have to try. And we're just fans. We're just spitballing here. We're just talking here. It's up to the board, it's up to Jesse, and it's up to the players. And that's the main topic today, the players. Just before I go on, Ian J and Has Haribo. I didn't get your super chats on the live stream yesterday, and I apologize. Actually, Ian J, you sent yours after the stream ended, so there was never no way I could do it. But thank you so much for the super chats. And Karen Curtin, super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. Love for the love. And yeah, you know what I didn't mention yesterday? And Robert Purnell with a super chat. Hi from York, the capital of Yorkshire. Shout out to you. York's a lovely place, by the way, Robert. I've been there once or twice. Very historic looking place, but yeah, it's a beautiful city. I didn't mention yesterday, and this goes into not talking about the board and Jesse because tactics and everything else are what they are. But we talked about the third goal yesterday where our defenders were very lightweight. You know, Robin Cock didn't want to concede the pen. Cooper got brushed off by Mitrovic like he was a fly, and they scored the easiest goal. But we didn't talk about the second goal. And no matter what you are as a coach, no matter the tactics you set up, you can't legislate for one, a poor clearance out from a corner, and two, Andreas Pereira having the freedom of the right wing to get across him, and then Bobby Reed having the freedom of the penalty area at the left centre back place, by the way, to get a free header. You can't legislate for that. There's a lot of things that the players have done that you can't legislate for in terms of individual errors that we keep on making. And we have to talk about that because whether it's the players themselves or fans, a lot of people have believed in these players for whatever reason. So we need to discuss these guys that are allegedly good enough for the Premier League, that are allegedly good enough for Leeds United, and we need to see what's going wrong with these guys. Now, I said yesterday I didn't want to watch these highlights back, but I was watching Match of the Day too, and by the time the Leeds game come on, I was in the kitchen doing something else, so I could still hear it. And obviously, I peeked around the corner and looked at the highlights and was like, oh my days. But I did say, and let's start with them. I did say that we should start Liam Cooper in this game, and that's because if there's anything Cooper's good at, it's physical battles. That's his bread and butter for me. Good in the air and physical battles. Now Mitrovic isn't the quickest. He's not He's not the smartest. He's not gonna like outthink you on the pitch. He's just gonna try and match you with brute force. And I looked at the performance, and it stunk. And if he's not going to be good at that, then he shouldn't be here. Well, he shouldn't be here anyway. But then he really shouldn't be here. And then he's coming out with his speech after as the captain. I'm asking you guys: did you any of you feel inspired by Liam Cooper? Bearing in mind he had a stinker himself in this game, and that he's not Premier League standard. Did any of you feel inspired by the captain's speech yesterday? Because I know I didn't. I didn't believe a word of it because the first thing I'm thinking of is you shouldn't even be playing, mate. That's what I was thinking. You shouldn't be playing, so I can't believe in you as a captain. I just want to know if anybody else felt that same way when they listened to him talk. Because this is my measuring stick. This is the temperature test for me into how some of these players are still here. He sounded gutted. He did, but we've heard that from him before. We've heard that kind of tone from him before. Many players, for me, Cooper doesn't deserve to be a leader. Listen, I'm all for him being club captain. There's a difference, though. I do believe after pitch, after field, he's a good captain. I do believe that he welcomes people in with open arms and helps them settle in, and that's all good. But on the pitch, oh, bro, bro, Lord have mercy. Yeah, Tom Cooper is not a leader on the pitch. Yeah, and listen, I can see Bamford shouts in here. We're going to speak about Bamford. We are going to speak about Bamford. Gail, think Bamford has done nothing for the 18-month with big wages. We're going to talk about it, Gail. Signed a new contract, and listen, have you seen the people that usually get slated when they sign new contracts for big money and do nothing? I think of Ozil, I think of Aubameyang, I think of Salah right now. But listen, Bamford signed that new shiny deal, and we ain't getting much return. But listen, we'll get into it. Of course we will. Katrina, I think Tyler Adams will be a good captain. He's feisty and fights for us, and he's a good player, Katrina. You know what I mean? He's a good player on top of it. The main thing, by the way, the main thing. Brendan T, yeah, it feels like he's insulting our intelligence. And listen, one thing I want to make clear as well with the players that I believe aren't good enough to be here, then they're not going to go to the board and say, you know what, Andrea, I don't think I'm good enough for the Prem anymore. I'm going to drop down a league or two where I truly belong. They're not going to do that, and nobody in their right mind would do that. We're human beings. We'll always try and get the most for as little as possible, or be in positions where we probably don't believe we should be in. But you know what? As long as we can wing it, we're going to stay. We're going to stay. So I don't blame the players, but this is where it is for me as well sometimes with the fans, because Leeds do put out a lot of propaganda for these guys, Click, Ayling, Cooper, and all these guys. They do put out a lot of propaganda just to make sure the fans are happy with their promotion favourites. And then you've always got the fans underneath. Sign a 6-year deal, stay forever. We love you. Never leave. Click, you're so funny. Ha ha ha. You've always got that. And in turn, that always gets fed back. Trust me, I know. It always gets fed back to the top. So they probably won't say to him, listen, guys, we need you to leave in the summer, please. Can you go? They're not going to do it. So again, I don't blame them for sticking around. But if they believe that they're here for the Premier League, they need to up their performances as best as they can. Brian is saying, I think our individual quality will barely keep us up. Deja vu. We'll see it. We'll see. And Michael, listen, once again, I didn't give enough credit to Brendan yesterday. Again, I've done it again. Second week in a row, by the way. Saw a stat saying Aronson was 7th in chances created. If only if we had one striker who could put them away. Michael, he laid on a few chances yesterday, and it's been a consistent theme. But yet, he's here with just one assist. He's just got one when he really should have more. Adam should have more, by the way. Our better players are the ones holding the quality up, while everyone else are just passengers in the team. And that's why we've got to talk about them. So there was Cooper. We saw Ayling and Rodrigo having a little spat yesterday, a bit of finger pointing yesterday in terms of the goal, what Ayling helped concede in the on the Mitrovic goal. But this is another thing I'm talking about, having spats on the pitch. That's normal. You know, that happens within teams. But does it filter back into their dressing room? We don't know. We're not in there. But that's what I'm talking about, a harmonious dressing room, meaning not a lot when the team isn't doing well. So you can have a bunch of average players and they can all love each other. But if they're not winning on the pitch, it will turn sour eventually. Always does. But I wasn't sure why Ayling was barking at Rodrigo, because as much as heat Rodrigo I give him, if Ayling doesn't get burnt past by Willian to concede the corner in the first place and then lose Mitrovic for a free header, I don't get what Rodrigo was supposed to do. Again, lack of accountability within the team. And Ayling, again, got the start yesterday, after Christensen gets dropped or arrested, whichever one you want to say. He shouldn't be there. He should be the backup. There is nothing wrong with Rasmus. We don't have Champions League. We don't have European football. Rasmus can play the games. But we saw what Ayling was about in the first half. It's not good enough. But he still believes he should be here. He said before, I'm fit and ready to go. You're not showing it. So again, mistakes with certain players in here. Sathana is saying we can't be saved in deep waters changed now. Vicky saying, are the old guy throwing Jesse under the bus? Well, according to a lot of people as well, they threw Bielsa under the bus. You know, you had players allegedly, don't know this for sure, but that were arguing against the training as it was just getting too intense, which I understand. They eventually get a change, but it's not good enough again. So these guys are just going to keep on getting passes, and we're just going to keep on hammering the coaches. Once again, I know Jesse's tactics and subs are not good. I'm not saying they're not, but these guys seem to just keep on getting free passes. And we're going to speak about Meslier just a little bit, but listen, I know our young king is doing his best. I know he is, but he's got to get a little better. He has to get a little better. Now, I'm not saying that, drop him for Robles anytime soon. I'm not saying that. But he needs to make the first save in a couple of these games, because at the moment, some of these shots, the first shots that are captaining, are going in. Even before that Mitrovic one went in, the one got cleared off the line by Rocker. He needs to give us a chance. We're going to concede. We're going to concede chances. It's obvious. But Meslier just needs to give us a bit more of a helping hand at the start. He made a great one-on-one save against Pereira afterwards. But again, I'm talking about the first save. It's vital. But I'm not getting on Meslier, but he just needs to help us out a little bit more, because he hasn't been, for me this season, I think he's been okay overall. I wouldn't say he's been good. I think he's been okay. What's everyone saying in regards to Meslier so far? Robert saying Meslier is overrated. St. Helens White saying need a keeper that can come out. Darren saying, I don't think Meslier can save the first one. It was too near. Darren, it went he got his fingertips to it and it went through. You know who gets stick for that? Who gets stick for that nationally as well? Is Jordan Pickford. He gets stick for those. But listen, gotta say about Jordan Pickford, he's been brilliant over the last 12 months. You know, they call him dinosaur arms, but he's been brilliant. I just believe Melier, he's got the reach, he's got the arms, he's got the height. Come on, man. He should be doing better than that on his near post yet again, by the way. Told with the donation. Thank you so much, Told for the support. Napa, he's no Nigel Martin. He certainly isn't Napa. He certainly isn't. Gail saying, I like Melier. Listen, again, I like Melier too, Gail. Let's not don't get it twisted in terms of what I'm saying about Melier, like I'm criticizing him as if he's been useless. He hasn't been. But how many times have we seen it now where we've been dominant for the first 20, 25 minutes? The other team goes at the other end, first shot, goal. It's happened how many times? There's only a few of us that are as good as Nigel Martin. John Redmond, hi to you, man. Yes, hello to you. Mayer is saying Melier is a good number 2. He's weak. Ooh. Ooh. Let's have a look. Karen saying, I like Melier room for improvement, though. That's perfect, Karen. That's probably the perfect thing I would say for him. I like him, but there's definitely room for improvement. He's a young guy anyway. He's a young guy. Nige D, don't get me started. Don't get me started, Nige. We should have bought Pope. Oh, my days. Oh, Lord. I wish. But yeah, so that's just a quick one on Melier. Just a quick note. Who else shall we go with? We've got to talk a bit about Jack Harrison. For me, we're talking about a player at the start of the window who was talked about as 30 to 40 million, and some fans, and I think I'm included, unless it was an eye-watering offer and we got in a replacement. I remember saying I would take Noah Lang over Jack Harrison. But for me, Harrison has got to do more too. I know it's not his natural position, being a little bit tucked inside, but he started on a house like a house on fire, and he was in pretty much the same position. We need more from this guy. And I was more in the camp of keeping Jack Harrison because I really truly believed he was going to take over the mantle from Rafinha. I thought he was going to relish being the main guy on the wing, the number one winger. But he's gone into hiding again. Overall, he's gone into hiding. St. Helens White is saying his head turn for Newcastle. Could be. I mean, that does happen. Of course it does. You know, he's seen what's being built at Newcastle. Brilliant project, by the way. Eddie Howe, brilliant coach. Obviously a bit more richer up there too. Maybe that has got something to do with it, because I mean, was it pretty much after the window closed that the form started to suffer? It could be. It could be. Maybe that's just a coinky dink, right? But for me, he's got to show a little bit more. He's got more in the locker, and that's the frustrating thing for me with Jack. I know he's got it in the locker, but we don't see it on a consistent enough basis. Jack is saying, no, you can't blame Harrison. He's incapable of playing on the right. He shouldn't be there. There is that, Jack. Absolutely, there is that. But even in the times where he's been on the left, and he's been very ineffective, especially over the last few games. But at the same time, if we're going to measure him up to play on the left, you're not dropping Sinistera for Jack Harrison. Not for me, anyway. Sinistera is a much better winger, inside forward than Jack Harrison. He's just got more of a threat to him. MA is saying Jack Harrison is the same category as Pogba. Interesting. They can be good when the team is good, but that type of players can't have a team on their shoulders. That's an interesting point, MA. Yeah, when the going's good, Jack Harrison is on top. That is true. There's another player like that called the guy that scored yesterday, Tielemans. He's one of those. He's one of those for Leicester. When the going's good, he looks amazing. But when they're going in a bit of a rough patch, he shrinks in the team. So there definitely are players like that. Hey Arnold, what's up, KG? What happened to the hay, Arnold? Did they make you take out the hay? Let me know. Lewis is saying bench Jack, play Brendan on the right and Gelhardt in the middle. Absolutely. And on this, I'm not really talking about players like Sam Greenwood. I just want to make it clear. I'm not talking about fringe players or people like that. I'm talking about players who believe they should be here, and also that fans have backed to the tilt that they should be here. Those are the guys I'm really talking about here today. Yeah, Tom, of course. Yeah, don't worry. We'll have Gakpo and Jan. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to get him. Oh, Arnold saying you guys made me do it. Oh, Lord. Lee saying, I think that's all our players. When it's bad, no one is good. When it's good, they're all firing. But Lee, at the moment, there are good players in the team. I could name, Pascal doesn't fall under that umbrella. I know he did last season. I mean, it was hard for anyone not to feel, low on confidence last season. But Pascal's been good this season, very good this season. Tyler Adams been good. Mark Rock'n'Roll's been good. Brendan Aronson's been good. And I agree with the comments. He's been shortchanged by a lot of poor finishing. Brendan Aronson has. He's been shortchanged a hell of a lot. He's created a lot of chances, but no one's putting them away. So there are some players that are standing out in this team, which worries me too when it comes to the January or next summer. But yeah, it's a lot of our players are confidence players. Listen, I told you before, it's a story through time. The idea of playing for Leeds United is good, but the reality is different, especially when it's going bad for some of these players. Some of them, the badge is too heavy. It's too heavy. It's too heavy for them. We had it in the championship, and we've got it now. MA saying, Man KG, great with your live streams, etc. Man is alone in Sweden with frustration over my team, anger management with KG. Yeah, I'm past anger with this now. It's more of a where do we go next? One of those. It's what do we do next, and how can we get more out of these players? But shout out to you in Sweden, man. John Crawford, I wonder if Jesse Marsch is one of the 389. Well, Jesse, if you're listening, play Joe Gelhardt. Please do it. Please do it. But yeah, listen, yeah, there is a 389. Please hit the like on the video if you're in here now. Hit the like if you're watching the replay after, please. Yeah, Katrina, calm therapy session today. Yeah, it's a little bit light. Yesterday was just so disappointing. You got to take into account we lost at home 3-2. It wasn't even a 3-2 game as well. We lost to a whimper. Fulham were much better than Leeds United yesterday, and that's, for me, that's unforgivable, especially in the position we're in. So yeah, Harrison too. Rodrigo. I mean, I don't want to spend on Rodrigo because I've spoke about him many times. But again, one goal yesterday, first in 7. It's not good enough for the guy that they keep rolling out. And listen, when you think about Rodrigo's moments in his his time at Leeds United, do they tally up more than say a Joe Gelhardt? And if they do, and if it's just by this much, then that's not very good considering all the time Rodrigo's had on the pitch. We've tried him up front. We've tried him in the 10. We've tried him out wide. We've tried him in central midfield. This guy has been given so many chances to impress, to improve, give us your best position. And we get performances that are just ordinary. Ordinary. Yeah, AFV yesterday was about venting. It certainly was. Certainly was. No regrets in what I said yesterday. Bromance. What bromance is here? Bully B is saying win, lose, or draw, we will be there. Always there. More fool us, Bully B. We'll always be there, won't we? That's the thing. So we can't stay angry, unfortunately. You have to try and look and see where we go. Deshaun is saying not in the slightest. Rodrigo is a certified. Well, it's time to go. It is. He's not the only one, but it's about him being one of our main players. And you know what? There's almost an argument with him now scoring the goal because we are so low. And this is what I'm talking about. Because the bar is just so low. That does he start with Joe Gelhardt and not Bamford? For all the other stuff that Bamford gives you, he's not scoring goals. And I'm going to save Bamford because I've got something for Bamford. But there's an argument that Rodrigo and Gelhardt should be the two up front to start the game. It's insane, isn't it? But that's where we are. And I know that goes back to the board and everything else, but we've got to stick on the players here. But yeah, listen, you know what? Let's go on to Bamford as well. And I don't want to sound harsh, but I'm just going to say how it is because listen, Bjorn, who's a viewer of this, yeah, hold on. Supermall is expiring. It's in the fridge. It's gathering ice and everything, man. It's gathering ice. Um, Listen, Bjorn had a problem with me saying that Bamford was never the main man at Leeds United. He said it was a bit harsh, but Bjorn is also somebody that thought that you couldn't say anything bad about Tyler Roberts. So take that for what it's worth. But shout out to you, Bjorn. But I mentioned to Bjorn a few things in regards to Bamford, in that he wasn't our main man to begin with. It was Kemar Roof. But Kemar Roof, like Bamford, picked up a load of injuries here and there, so Bamford would come back in. Even if in our promotion season, there was a time where I don't. One thing I think people forget is how many chances we created in the champ. We were the smoothest, free flowing team that in the champs ever seen for me. I know Wolves were good in that year, but we were ripping teams apart, like creating chance after chance, and he'd miss a bunch. He ended that year with 16 goals. Meanwhile, a team that finished in 15th, 16th had strikers that scored 19, and they were nowhere near as good as us. So there you go there. He gets 17 goals in the Prem and it was good, but it was without fans. Is there something there to that? There's not an asterisk there, but there kind of is. You know what I mean? And then I remember he was being linked with moves away to people like Arsenal and Spurs. And I was thinking, yeah, cash in and let's go and get somebody else. But I don't think those rumors ever, had any substance. And he stayed, signs a new deal, he's on big money. And now he's constantly injured and unfit and everything else like that. But it's not just that. I rewind as well because I think a lot of people forget. Jesse Marsch told everybody in press conferences that this guy was fit and ready to go. And if you remember a couple of weeks or months earlier, he said, if the team need me when it comes to Brighton and Brentford, I'll be ready to play. Like he's Benzema. He's making out like, he can come back and save our season. Jesse declares that he's fit to go, fit to play, but he has to speak to Patrick Bamford and his agent to see what's going on. Why do you need to do that if the player's fit? I still believe at that point that if he was just protecting himself in case we were going down. People can disagree, and that's fine. It's all opinions. It is all opinions. But I believe that he was trying to protect himself in case we went down, and then he could get a move to somewhere else in the Prem to protect his World Cup dream. But a lot of people forget these kind of things. And then even then, his post when we just about stay up, it was partly about us staying up and wish he played more, but it was more about promoting his lightning shoes and the environment. I'm telling you, if you put all that together, and I told you that was Pogba, what do you think you'd be calling Pogba and everything now? Think about that. If it was Pogba, if it was Jesse Lingard, any one of these players, Dele Alli, or any of those guys, you'd be thinking these guys are stealing a living. But alas, we move on to this season where Bamford has had limited time and he's missed 9 big chances, people. Now, what I want you to understand when I say that is that these chances change games. There's a saying in ice hockey that an NHL coach is only as good as his goaltender, and it's true. You got a good goaltender, you're probably going to go far in the NHL. If you got a good striker in the Prem, you're getting points. You're getting points in the Prem. And he has missed chance after chance after chance. And a lot of them have been one-on-one. This is a guy as well at the start of the year, and Dow said it here, his World Cup dream, he still believed he had a chance of going to the World Cup. Now, I like that. I like confidence in the player, but for me, you've got to back it up on the pitch. You've got to back it up. There's no point saying you're the greatest and then go out and you play like a League One player. So you've got a player here that is not doing the business, but believes he could possibly still get on the plane to Qatar. They did a graphic for England today. He's nowhere to be seen. He's nowhere to be seen. So this is what I'm saying in terms of, and there's people that will back Bamford to the hill. They'll say he's who can we get that's better, which is insane to me. But if you're going to have a striker that does all the good stuff, and I want to make it clear, he does a lot of good stuff on the pitch in terms of making space, everything else like that, but he's not doing the main thing that he's supposed to do, and that's put the ball in the net. He's had a penalty and he screwed it wide. Like he's literally been given opportunity after opportunity to score, and he's not helping. Just think about if he put some of those goals away, we're talking very differently today. Jesse's probably not under so much pressure. We're probably talking about Bamford. Could he possibly get on the plane in light of the injuries that are in the England team right now? But alas, we're talking about a guy that's still on 99 goals from last December when he injured himself celebrating against Brentford. And you're talking about a guy that I said as well, play him into form. And I said that because we had Leicester and Fulham coming up. And I have to make that clear. I said play him into form because he's bound to score against Leicester. Danny Ward, no. Fulham at home, a great opportunity. When is going to be the opportunity for this guy to score? So that's what I'm trying to say here. As much as the board and Jesse are definitely in the mud and need looking at, the players on the pitch have got to do more. The individual errors, the missed chances. Like somebody said, Brendan Aronson should be on more assists. He should. Even Jack Harrison should be on more assists. Remember that one where Harrison passed it into Bamford and he just ballooned off his left foot and miscontrolled it? We could go all day with this, people. But these are some of the players. It's not just them that believe themselves. It's a lot of the fans too that believe that they can take us wherever it is that they believe they can take us. They've hit their ceiling for me a long time ago, and some of these guys have to go, whether it's in January or the summer. We've got to get rid of these guys. You don't get anywhere in football if you don't score goals. And I just want anyone as well that just looks at Leeds United games, and that's fair if you just watch Leeds United. Go and watch some of the highlights yesterday of Callum Wilson, of other players like Daka, all these guys. If they had the chances that Bamford's had this season, they're scoring a lot of them. We don't know that, but it's pretty obvious they would. I'm fairly confident they would. James Tyree saying Bamford hasn't scored yet. No, he hasn't, and I don't even think he's got an assist at this moment in time. Robert, KG, you're spot on. Listen, this is just my opinion. I need to make this clear as well. I'm not speaking for everybody in here today. I'm speaking for myself from what I see. And I got to make that clear. If you disagree, put it in the comments after and give me your reasons why you disagree. Because I'd be very interested to hear it. Very interested to hear it. Because there's a lot of promotion squad apologists out there, and a lot of them on Twitter. For me, on Twitter though, it's different on Twitter. I think a lot of people just want to be everyone's friend. You know, they just want to back everybody no matter what, and say that everything's going to be rosy and great. But we're seeing living proof of it this season. It isn't great. James is saying should have cashed in on Jack Harrison and gone in for Gakpo. Way too hot and cold, which isn't enough for the Premier League, or it isn't good enough. The inconsistency lets you be a mid-table or bottom tier club. It's always the way in the Prem. So, yeah. Welsh White is saying so much dead within the squad. Board should be ashamed. Yeah, but they're not. They're not ashamed at this moment in time. You know what I mean? They still probably believe that everything's going to be okay, but yeah, it's insane for me. Yeah, Darren is saying Bamford is okay. He has other stuff to offer the team, but can't be the main guy. And I'm for that, Darren. I'm for him being in a partnership with a Gelhardt who will go up front ahead of him. Bamford can do all that holding up, making space stuff, but allow Gelhardt to be a shooter. Even at times, Sonny Perkins, give him a chance, but he is not a shooter. Yet again, I didn't want to see it again, but I saw the one-on-one again against Leno. He just taps it against Leno's leg. It wasn't a good save. It was easy. He didn't try and lift it over him or nothing. It's just not good enough. And that's at a pivotal moment of the game as well. He scores that, the whole game changes. Jody saying Perkins probably, Joseph bad loads too. Yeah, Mateo Joseph, but we just need something else. We need something else. Terry saying board negligence, not bringing in another centre back or two after conceding 70 goals last season. Yeah, I mean, listen, Terry, I'm in there too. I'm not perfect. I didn't spot the whole centre back thing myself until in this season. because I was more thinking about a striker, a left back, and a central midfielder, attacking midfielder. It just went completely past me that maybe we do need an upgrade in centre back area. And I think when you saw Pereira running through on 29 minutes, like it was the 89th minute, and they were, just finishing off a game, yeah, we probably do need a pacier centre back in there. Let me just see. There's a super chat here by Mooks. Let me just get it before it goes away. Okay, Mooks, got you. Jesse should have the strikers hitting the ball from every distance and angle node to man. Yep. That final third is shocking. We can see why can't Jesse? Yeah, I know, but I don't know what's going on in training, and I've got to be honest, I don't watch the training videos, so you guys will probably know more about that than me. I can't stand to watch those training videos and have done since mid last year. I haven't watched one since then. They just don't interest me because whatever they're doing on the training field isn't translating to the pitch. Gail saying Bamford has lost us at least 6 points. So many, and every point is like gold in the Prem. That's what I want people to understand as well. When I'm saying all this stuff, it's about the betterment of Leeds United. It isn't a personal dig at anybody. I would say thank you to all the promoted players. I really would. But this is about Premier League survival. It's about Premier League status. We don't want to lose that again. We don't want to lose it again as Leeds United because we won't come back up straight away. We just won't. All our better players will get picked off, and who knows what we'll invest in the Championship. I don't even want to find out. So let's not find out. Let's not find out, or I don't even want to think about it. Gavin saying Cine is the only one that shoots on sight a goal. Yeah, him and Gelhardt, Gavin. Gelhardt only needs a glimpse of the goal and he's going to shoot. So, but again, Gelhardt, I mean, so many times, how can we go back onto this? Gelhardt can't even criticize him because he's not getting no minutes. This is on Jesse Marsch. That is on Jesse Marsch to play him more. And he could do with that on Saturday night against Liverpool. No better time. He doesn't need cotton wool, wrapping in cotton wool. Unleash him at Anfield. Him, Joe Gelhardt, in preference to other players, he won't hide. He's not going to hide. He will go for it against Liverpool, whereas other players will probably pass it here, have 5-6 touches before then passing it back again. We don't need that. We need some attacking impetus. Jesse himself says we need goals, goals. Prove it. MA say when Bamford gets a chance, you don't say come on and score. You say, man, don't miss now. Yeah, I said it on a couple games ago when he went through 1-on-1 a few games ago. I didn't expect him to score, and also on the penalty, I didn't think he was going to score. Then, do you know how mad that is when you've got a striker 1-on-1 and you don't even believe he's going to score or even a penalty? I mean that just tells you everything you need to know. But again, I'm only talking for myself. And Gail, click, listen. Here's another one the fans love and adore because he's funny on social media. But there's nothing funny about his performances on the pitch. And people can say that this is an agenda, and that's fine. But if you go to my Wolves review, I bigged up Click big time for that performance. But I said it with the caveat as I don't expect him to do it every week. I remember what I said. He doesn't have to do it every week because that's impossible, especially for a player of his limited abilities. But if he can do that for us against Wolves, one every 2 to 3 games, then that's brilliant. But alas, we are here and it's been the Wolves game and it's been nothing else since. But the promises have been made to him quite clearly that he's going to get 20 minutes at least a game to get his minutes before the World Cup. He's not doing anything to justify these 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Gelhardt is getting competition winner minutes at 86 minutes and coming on. That's on Jesse Marsch. Robert Purnell, Click is not a game changer. He isn't. Dashan, I stand with Bob. And that's the thing, isn't it? This is the thing. He gets love for stuff like that. And the thing is as well, Bob was actually making a good point. He didn't say anything wrong. Maybe the delivery was wrong from Bob, but he didn't say anything that was untrue. But he gets a F off Bob. It's been printed on a t-shirt. Oh, Clicky, you're so funny. Oh, Clicky, never go. Oh, fans like that don't help because the club see that feedback. Trust me, I know this. The club see that feedback and they're like, well, Guess we can't really get rid of Click because it will cause a little bit of an uproar. He's a fan favorite. We got to keep him here. I just wish some people would separate the social media to the football player, but a lot of people just aren't capable of doing that. Alex with the super chat. Thank you so much, Alex. Bamford missing 9 key chances are demoralizing. If he scores those, then the outlook of those matches changes. They absolutely do, Alex. They absolutely change every single one of them. Because it's not like, apart from Brentford, it's not like we've been really blown away by other teams in terms of scorelines. These have been chances when the game's been kind of tight or where we can probably move further ahead, and he just fluffs everything. Whether he's trying to pass it back against Brentford, he literally had to slide it in and he passed it backwards. I mean, I can't say any more about it because then it really does sound like an agenda, but yeah, it is what it is. Tom Gatlin saying, can see a top 4 club coming for City in the summer. I've actually got different thoughts on that, Tom. I think another European club will come in for Sinistera. I can definitely see that happening if he continues in the vein that he is. And we're doing absolutely zero. I can see him probably going back into Europe next season. But somebody says here, let me just get that. Darren is actually saying though, Sinisterra's body language no good too. No more smiling, looks very frustrated. But yeah, I mean, Darren, there's nothing to smile about, is there? that meme that's going around with that man that's where someone says a smile would be nice and he says, I got nothing in my life to smile about. Whatever it is, it's kind of like that at the minute, isn't it? But I saw that yesterday, and I don't know if anyone else saw it, but when Mitrovic scored and they were restarting the game, him and Rodrigo were having a little like little tummy tickles. Like, ooh, you score a goal or something like that. I don't know what they were saying, but they were smiling with each other. But that's what I'm saying. The players don't care as much as you wish. The players don't care as much as us as fans. We sit on this, and sometimes we lose sleep over our teams not winning a game. I mean, allegedly, but these players, they just go on with their day, man. They book a nice dinner somewhere and chill out. But yeah, Guido, shout out to you, Guido, for the super chat. Marsh fixed the midfield. Yes, defense blows. Bamford and Rodrigo need to be sold in Jan to a championship side by someone. Well, we are gonna talk about the January transfer window when it comes later to the time, because I'm going to keep it realistic because unrealistic, we ain't got time for that. So I'm going to keep it realistic when it comes to that time. But yeah, we definitely need to make moves in January. But for me at the moment, Guido, I'm still on the thought that we're not going to do anything, which is a worry, for me. But hopefully, I said this last season, hopefully they can see how bad this team is, that they do something in January. But what happened last January? We didn't do anything. So I'm not really fully confident of that, but I guess we'll see. John Crawford saying we can't beat Liverpool like Nottingham Forest did. Yeah, I mentioned it briefly yesterday, but it would have been nice if we got a good result against Fulham. Maybe you're saying that these players will take into good confidence against Liverpool, but once again, as bad as Liverpool are, and they are bad right now, they're bad and our bad. It's two different bads, people. Like they'll probably still hammer us 5-0. I said to a Liverpool fan yesterday, listen, if you beat us 4-5-0 on Saturday, don't get gassed, don't get excited because we're just not that good. We're just not that good. So don't get too excited. Wait until you play another team and see if you kick on from there. Because we are not the benchmark to be measured against. We're just not. Shane, shout out to you, Shane. Evening, KG. Wet through watching that rubbish yesterday. Why is nobody able to pull the trigger early? No, I've seen a few of you say in regards to Jesse Marsch because he's got so many years on his contract that maybe he can't be let go. We'll see in the coming weeks, won't we? Because we're not going to beat Liverpool, so you don't expect him to get sacked after that. We'll see after Bournemouth, I think. I think that will be the test. If we don't beat Bournemouth, that will tell you then if he's still here after Bournemouth that maybe it's right what people are saying, that he's got too many years on his contract and we can't afford to let him go. That's the only way that I can see it. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that. Napa, Liverpool only scoring 5 will actually be an embarrassment for them. Yeah, true. I remember last season, man, when I predicted 6-0 to Liverpool and it was 6-0, but that's when we was just being absolutely pummeled by everybody. It was like a free for all, wasn't it, in that month? And but I don't think it will be that bad this year, this Saturday. But I don't anticipate us winning. If I've put us with wins against teams like Fulham and Leicester, and we can't do that. Actually, I didn't put a win against Fulham. I said 1-1 for me, but I just can't see where we go against Liverpool. Paul saying, not just social media, players do something in the community and fans love them or laud them. Yeah, they do, Paul. It happens all the time. I remember when Luke Ayling I don't know if it was his red card or it was some kind of other error. I don't think it was a red card. It was something else. But he was going through bad form. Take your pick when that was. And then, the Leeds United social media post put out about something with the Stammer Association. Not again, not dissing it. It's all good stuff. But if you've worked in PR and companies that do PR, that's what it is. It's to go, oh, look at this stuff that Luke Ayling's doing. Oh, he's such a good guy. Keep him forever. Give him a new 6-year contract. It happens all the time. But unfortunately, and it's not being horrible, some people can't separate the two. They just can't do it. So they just go, oh, Luke Ayling, what a good guy. I hope he stays at Leeds forever. So what happens? St. Helens is saying Walcott will be a good shot window for a goal scorer. Well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, is that for us to buy St. Helens White or what? I don't know. Because anybody who's a top scorer or has a good World Cup, what are they coming to Leeds United for? If it was at the start of the season where you're starting from fresh and you start from zero, then absolutely you can sell a player a project. Of course you can. But in the middle of a season when you're doing this badly, they're not going to go, that looks like a good idea. Let me sign for 5 years there. It's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. For me, I mean, realistically, and I don't want to get into players now, but I'm just seeing. No, I don't want to talk about transfer targets. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's too early. It's too early. We have to talk about with what we've got right now. So yeah, yeah. RP astrology. I mean, you said it great here. Everyone wants a goal scorer, and yet we're of little appeal. It's true, unfortunately. It's true. But yeah, I mean, listen, I've gone through all my points that I wanted to make today. Um, that's just some things that were on my mind. Let me just see if there's anything else of note that's just broken or anything. No, Lee's still standing by Jesse Marsch, which I know a lot of you is grating on your ears. I know. Ted is saying, at least in the NHL, when you were getting your asses kicked home at home, you can drop the gloves. Yeah, man, I love that. I love it though. iPad, yeah, Brereton Diaz, and again, we don't know how good Brereton Diaz will do, but his contract is coming up. He's got teams like Milan and stuff looking at him, and I know we've done that before, but Brereton Diaz comes into our team, he's going to start for us. He's not sitting on the bench to Bamford. He comes in because he does all. He's got good movement, very good movement. He's quicker. I mean, it's not even. I mean, listen, that's not really fair, is it? Quicker than Bamford. I know that's low hanging fruit, but Brereton Diaz, it'll be cheap, which again, ding ding is an appeal. He's not going to cost a lot of money. I would take Brereton Diaz in January. I generally would. I think I said I would take him in the summer as well as an option. We don't know how good he's going to be, but he's got the potential to be good. That's the thing. He's not somebody I look at and think he can't do it in the Prem. Maybe he could. Let's be the ones to find out if he can. We've already made enough transfer howlers. What's one more, eh? What's one more? Gail saying, I couldn't listen to Jesse yesterday. I've heard it all before. Yeah, and I mean, he pretty much said as much in the first sentence. He says, I'm sure our fans don't want to hear about tactical things and everything else like that. So yeah, he knows what's going on. Gary's saying Jesse isn't the problem, KG. It's the fact we have a sprinkling of Premiership man, throwback Premier League players, but too many Championship players, and Orta gave them extended contracts. Yeah, I know. But at the same time, fans celebrate those contracts as well, Gary. So when they're seeing all the feedback and saying, wow, they really love that we've given this player a new contract, they're like, well, we've done a good job here. There's no backlash here. We move on. So it's on fans as well sometimes to just not bite to the PR propaganda that they drop. It's hard, but sometimes you have to ignore it. Smudge with a super chat. Thank you so much, man. Hey, Cage, you're living in the colonies? What's that? Colonies? Colonies? Sorry. Here in Alberta, I'm a huge Oilers fan. We play you tonight, Smudge. And a junior hockey is my hometown team, Medicine Hat Tigers. Who do you follow? Well, Penguins is my team, Smudge, and we've got you tonight. But listen, that's a game between two good teams. So if we lose against Edmonton, I won't be too sad because you are a very good team and we are coming to your home. But in terms of football, where my team just can't win against anyone, it's disheartening. But listen, you've got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you got Evander Kane, my guy Evander Kane. You're good to go. Darnell Nurse, you got a good team, man. And it looks like you might have fixed your goaltending. So look out, Stanley Cup run, yes, Smudge? Stanley Cup run. We'll see. Luke is saying he's reluctant to not start the youngsters because he doesn't want to offend the experienced players. Yeah, and I spoke about that yesterday. I spoke about it quite in depth, and shout out to Gabe, who was kind of going back and forth with me in terms of not understanding Gerhardt, the call for Gerhardt to start. But it's true. You can't be scared to offend these experienced players because they're not that good. We are not talking about moving, having this hot youngster that we need to see, and the experienced players are just so good, but we need to see what these players look like. We're talking about players that are not up to it, that aren't even that good. So yeah, bring these youngsters in and see what they can do. They can't do any worse than what we're seeing week in, week out. But listen, on the other side of the Marsch thing, I've got to put it. Tommy G saying Marsch could lose every game and fans would still say it's not his fault. Get real, people. He's clueless. And Tommy, I would agree with you, especially in terms of the substitutions, which still blow my mind today. But listen, people, I think I've gone on long enough, and probably until the next video, which may be the Liverpool preview, unless anything breaking comes out, I'll be here. I'll be here live and direct. I think that will be it, unless I get anything else that's on my mind. But listen, the chat's been good today. Listen, there's over 500 of you here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hit a like on the video before you exit. Please do that for me, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Time to get these numbers up, man. The views are good. I enjoy the views. Let's get the subscription numbers up too. And Darren saying he's a Winnipeg Jets fan. Shout out to you, Winnipeg. Shifley, good. He's good. Obviously, Kyle Connor, probably the most underrated sniper in the league. I need him to pick up though, Darren, because he's in my fantasy team. He's not scoring enough goals. So tell him. Yeah. So, but yeah, listen, people. No, thank you all for joining me. Seriously, and I'll see you all for the Liverpool preview, barring any breaking news. So peace out. Enjoy the rest of your evening.